Is blockchain a residential game changer? Yes, absolutely it is. To explain, let's look how a property is currently purchased. Let's think about who's involved in the process. So imagine we have a seller, and the seller appoints an agent, maybe two, and the property gets listed on a portal, maybe two portals, and a buyer pops up, and then the seller calls his mortgage company, who contacts his solicitor to get the deeds from their store, and meanwhile the buyer appoints his solicitor, and there's a mortgage broker, and the mortgage broker finds a bank, and then the bank appoints their solicitor, and the bank will no doubt need a surveyor who will do a valuation, and then cash is going to flow. It's going to go from the buyer's bank account to the buyer's solicitor's bank account, who sends it to the seller's solicitor's bank account, who probably sends it to the seller's bank account, and then the contract gets exchanged, and then it gets recorded at the land registry. Oh, and by the way, when the solicitor is putting together the legal pack, remember he's got to get all the searches, so he needs to contact the local authority, the water board, the electricity board, the highway search, etc. Now I make it, that's 22 people involved in purchasing a property. No wonder people say that buying a house is so stressful. Now imagine a situation where instead of 22 people involved in a property transaction, there's a buyer, and there's a seller, and that's it. And that is what blockchain can do. That is why it's a game changer. It's technology which will bring speed, ease, and certainty. It will make a process more efficient, and it will remove intermediaries. Now, so what is blockchain? Now, blockchain, it's a database. The significance is that it is one which is immutable. It's tamper-proof. Now, imagine a whole series of transfers of data. You can be talking about a music file, an email, or maybe a contract exchange online, which is what I do. Each one of these files is hashed. Now, if you're not familiar with the word hashing, what that means is it means the information is taken, put through an algorithm, and you come up with gobbledygook, which is like a long code. Imagine 100 pieces of data, and each piece of data is hashed. The point about hashing is that if you change the tiniest thing, a full stop or you make an exclamation mark, anything, it changes the output hash. Now imagine 100 pieces of data in a row, all pushed together and scrunched into one block, and that block of data. Imagine that block of data also hashed. And then imagine another 100 pieces of data. The same thing happens with 100 pieces of data. They all get scrunched together, including the first block, and so on. And that's what a chain of blocks creates, and that's what a blockchain is. And the idea is that you change any hash anywhere in the chain, it changes the outcome. And that's why it becomes tamper-proof, because you will know that someone has played around with the data. The second point about blockchain is that it is on multiple servers. It's decentralized. It's not held on one machine. So because it's decentralized, changing a record on one server will no longer match the others. You'd have to change all the servers at the same time. So you've got to change all the servers at the same time, and you've got to change every piece of data throughout the chains. It's impossible. So that's why blockchain is so significant, because it is data which you can completely rely upon. When someone has ownership of a digital file which is recorded in a blockchain ledger, you know it's theirs. And because you know it's theirs, you can rely upon the information. If you can rely 100% on information, you don't need the intermediaries who would normally check the information. Imagine how much faster the process can be concluded, and imagine how much safer the process can occur. So let's think about blockchain and will it become established? So I became very interested in technology about 10 years ago. And until recently, you wouldn't have heard of the term Proptech. Of course, now you hear it the whole time. And I've watched the rapid increase of interest in Proptech in recent years. But it is nothing compared to the momentum around blockchain. Many people are saying that blockchain technology is more significant than the internet. Now, you may take the view that this is years away. However, think about this. The first iPhone is just 10 years old. You've probably seen they announced it yesterday. The Facebook is only 13 years old. It's worth $500 billion. Twitter is only 11 years old. Instagram is only 7 years old. Airbnb, 10 years old. WhatsApp, 7 years old. Snapchat, 7 years old. So do not make the error in thinking that blockchain stuff is years away. It's already here. Now, why is it so significant? Well, you can see how blockchain technology provides a tamper-proof record, one which can be relied upon completely. And you can see how by removing intermediaries, it makes a process faster, safer, and more certain. Think how it's going to change our lives. Let me give you an example. So I transfer money to South Africa regularly. This is what I have to do. I have to go online, and I buy currency from Currencies Direct. They send me a contract note. Then I send them money. They send money to their South African office. Their South African office then sends it to my Investec bank account. Investec then send me an email with a form I have to fill in. I fill in a form, then they release the funds, then I pay my supplier in South Africa. Now that process can take 2 or 3 days. In comparison, I can send them bitcoins. I'm sure you've all heard about bitcoins. Bitcoins is a cryptocurrency, and it's recorded on a blockchain ledger. So I've sat on the phone, and I've sent bitcoins from my digital wallet to my friend in South Africa. I did this on the phone with him. As I pressed the button on my phone, his phone pinged 6,000 miles away. The currency arrived instantaneously. The transfer was instant. There was no bank, there was no delays, there was no intermediaries, there was no hassle. Now let's talk about property. I talked earlier about the speed of a property sale, and I explained how 22 people are involved in the process and how you can reduce this to a buyer and a seller. Now, some of you are probably thinking it's impossible. What about getting a mortgage, for example? Well, blockchain will enable this to be instant. You may have heard of the term a smart contract. This isn't actually a legal contract. It's an action resulting within a blockchain when a given set of rules have been met. So say a rule is set up where one person puts a blue file into a blockchain and another person puts a red file into the blockchain, and this throws out a yellow file. The creation of this yellow file is automatic, and that's what is called a smart contract in simple terms. So imagine a house buyer submits a request to a bank for a mortgage. The bank will have created a rule whereby if the borrower has a certain credit rating, the money will be lent on given terms. The bank will be able to gather the credit rating information instantly from linking with appropriate online databases. And if the rule is met, the smart contract will be created. So you put this into the chain of events, and you can see how blockchain will massively reduce time and effort, and as a result, the costs of obtaining a mortgage. And it can happen instantly. And the same thing can happen to all the process parts in buying a property. So when I see a house and I want to buy it, the seller agrees a price with me, and this is what will happen. I will say to him, I agree to give you £250,000. I'll press a button. Data will start to flow. The mortgage offer is reviewed. It's approved, and money is sent. And in a matter of moments, I've both bought a property and I've transferred the money. And don't think this isn't going to happen. The question is when. Now, let me tell you what I do and why I'm so interested in blockchain. Sorry, I've lost my place slightly. Yeah, I was saying how the momentum is so huge, and now what I do. So I've got a business called Click-to-Purchase. It's a platform where you can effect the legal exchange of a property contract online. An offer is made, it generates an electronic contract note, which is legally binding. It's a digital signature, and if the offer is accepted, by the press of a button, you've bought a property, a contract's been exchanged online. And we record and store audit trails, and we record our audit trail and the contracts with hashed and encryption technology. And if you exchange a contract by click-to-purchase, you will have an electronic file recording the proven event. And we've done almost £200 million worth of transactions like this now. So for me, you'll appreciate why blockchain is so interesting. Since we use hash and encryption technology, generating digital files already, creating a blockchain to record the data which our platform creates is a natural progression of the business. The business will not change, but the audit trail and the digital documentation will be recorded in the click-to-purchase blockchain ledger. So why are we thinking about building a click-to-purchase blockchain ledger? Well, as I've said earlier, in our business, we use encryption and hash technology, so moving this into a blockchain ledger is a natural progression for our business. The second thing is, I want to be not only seen understanding blockchain, I want to be using it. We will provide the opportunity for others to join our blockchain network, and other companies can record data in our blockchain. But mainly, it's because I want to be the first. I'm going to actually let you into a secret. Our blockchain is live. It is in final testing. It will be open to the public within a matter of weeks. And for the first time, when a property is actually exchanged by an online contract, it'll get recorded in a blockchain ledger. So where's all this going? Now, I've been working in property technology now for 11 years. And as I said earlier, there's been a huge upswing in interest in Proptech, but it's nothing, I reiterate, nothing compared to blockchain. I would urge you all to start reading about it if you're not already, watching videos. It will not make a bad business idea a good one. If the business model is flawed, it will still be flawed, but it will add a stamp of integrity and advanced technology to a business process. Blockchain will speed up processes, it will make things smoother, more efficient, faster and easier, and hence it will save money. Now, there are a lot of projects around which are trialing moving the land registry in various countries onto blockchain ledgers. And I understand that there's consultations to think about doing this in the UK. However, think about it. Why do you have the land registry? We have it to record ownership. It's a database. When you buy a property, your ownership is recorded at the land registry. But if you have bought a property and you have a digital file in a blockchain ledger with absolute proof of your right to ownership, why do you need the land registry? And that's where it's going. So yes, So yes, blockchain is a residential game changer. The residential conference website made a statement. It said it may take a few years before blockchain starts to truly make inroads into the UK residential market. Well, it's already here. We're already using it to record property transactions, and which is probably the most significant thing relating to property. And the other comment on the website said, how will it change the way the market currently operates? The answer is, it will turn it upside down. So you start thinking about how it will change your business. Thank you.